Welcome to another tutorial. And today, I was thinking I wasn't actually going to make a tutorial, but then I got a comment on YouTube. And then I decided, alright, if you want a tutorial about how to make a life bar, I'm going to give you a tutorial about how to make a life bar. So let's begin. First, we're going to delete our cube here. So click on your cube, press X since you want everything explained to you. I'm talking to you, Debbie, in Linux. And you click on delete. Then, on your numpad, you press option 1 to get to a side view. And you go to view, align view, align active camera to view. And now we have a two-dimensional-ish view of the environment. Next, we're going to manipulate the UI. And the way you do that is you drag these little things here. And if you want to make another panel, you click in the corner where this plus, you go to the corner of a panel, you'll see that this plus sign emerges right here. And you can drag and split things up. And we're going to drag this over here. And we're going to set this to file browser. I'll move this over. And let's go to desktop real quick. All right, we're in our desktop down here. Well, it's behind me, but the files are here, and they're behind my head. Deal with it. All right, next. We're going to split this window here by clicking on this plus sign and dragging. Now we have two screens here. I'll move this up a little bit. And then we're going to switch this one to compositing. So, compositor. There we go. Whew. All right. Now we've done that. We're going to create a plane by going Shift-A, Mesh Plane. We can't see it because it's a plane and we're looking at the edge of it. So then we'll press R to rotate and X to manipulate on the X-axis. Then we'll type in 90 to rotate it 90 degrees. And now we can see our plane. Next, we're going to scale it by pressing S and then Z, because you guys need everything explained to you. You can't just look up a Blender tutorial online. You need me to do it. Fine. Next. Oh, look at that. That kind of looks like a life bar. But it's kind of boring, isn't it? All right, now we've done that. Let's go ahead and make this a color. How about a color of good health? Because, people believe in something called signifiers, right? When we associate green with good, and we'll click up here to go to viewport shading. And look, it's really dark because there's no lights in our scene. Or there is a light, but it's way far away. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete the light because this is a life bar. It's going to be 2D and not affected by light. So we'll delete. I'll click on the light in the top corner here. Press X to delete it, and it's gone. Next, I'm going to select our plane. And because we're going to be using this in the BGE game engine, even though I'm using Blender 4.4.1 because, honestly, it's better for doing art stuff. So we're going to go to Emission, set it to green, and raise its strength here till it glows. And look at that, it's glowing. All right, now we've done that. Let's go ahead and make a border for it, unless you want to do a simplistic one where it's just a green square. But let's add a little kind of border to it. So we'll move our cursor above it. And we'll add, how about a cylinder? Sure. Scale it down a lot. Rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis because that's the one we're facing towards. And we'll give this one an emission shader of white. So we'll go down to emission here on the principal BSDF. You want to keep your shader BSDF because the game engine doesn't like emission shaders will glow, but they won't send light in Eevee unless you like put a volumetric box around it. And then at that point, the game engine will run really slow because volumetrics are just slow because they're all run on the processor, not the GPU. Also, yeah, I don't think the game engine has updates for volumetrics. So then we're going to go to a 3D view, and we'll go back to geometry view here. And we're going to click on, move our cursor out of the way. We're going to click on, press that to edit. We're going to go to, press up here to go to planar view on the editor. We're going to click on the end and this end with the shift key. Select both. Then we're going to go back to our main view by pressing 0, backing out a bit. And then we're going to press X, or we're going to press S to scale, and then X to do it on the. There we go. We spread it out. We resized it a good deal, and now we need to go ahead and move it a little bit. So move it on the X-axis by pressing G, then X. It looks pretty good. Then we're going to go on both sides again. Pressing Shift, holding down Shift when you click on the edges in edit mode lets you select both planes. Go back to 0 view. Then we'll press S, then X, and do something like that. You know what? I'm going to delete this cylinder. We're going to do it as cubes. It's just going to be easier and better. So we're going to select our plane here. We're going to go space bar to bring up the search field, and we're going to do cursor to origin. There we go. Cursor world origin, since this is already centered. And then we're going to go to option. We're going to press the N key to bring up the flyout menu. And then we're going to go to view. And we're going to raise the cursor on the Z axis so it stays centered. And get it somewhere up there. That's good. You could also just press G for go and Z. Oh, I didn't press G. Oh, I haven't even made the object yet. So we'll do Shift A. And we'll add a cube. And we'll scale it down by pressing S. And we'll squash a little by pressing S and Z. We'll lower it, G and Z. Okay, we'll go back into edit mode. We'll select the end caps on both sides of this cube. Okay. Then we're going to go scale, X, scale it out to there. That's good. Still in edit mode, and I'm going to select all of these And I'll do Control. We're going to zoom in on a bit here, about like that. Let's go ahead and move this over for now. I'm going to go Control R. And I'm going to move my scroll wheel until we get a plane that's close to the edge of the block below. All right, there we go. And right click to center them, and then click off to make the change final. Then we're going to select we'll scale it out a little bit later so it'll work. There we go. Select both of those. Then I go 0 to get back to this, and we'll go E for extrude, and then we can bring these down. Good. Then I'm going to select everything again. And I'm going to do Control R. And we're going to move the scroll wheel up so we get something like that. So there's going to be 4 planes there. We have to remember that. And right click to make them center, and left click to solidify them. Do the same thing over here. Control A, Control R, 4 planes, click, right click to center, and we're good. Okay. Next, we're going to select that. We select that plane on this thing, and we're going to go back to 0. So we're still in our camera view. And we're going to press E for extrude and bring it across. We're not going to make them touch yet because we're going to select their vertices. So I'll shift click on this plane. Go to vertice mode. Click on that corner. Click on that corner. Let's do this. Probably should have just done this with booleans. It would have been faster. Anyway, don't care. Maybe you'll learn something. Like to use booleans. Anyway, next I'm going to press M to merge. I think it's Shift M to merge. Oh. Okay, so I pressed M for merge. We'll just do merge at, let's go ahead and put the cursor here. We'll just merge at center. Ah, that's messed up. Let's not do that. Let's go ahead and select this face and X, and we'll choose delete face. There we go. And we'll choose this one to X, delete face. Go to point view. M for merge. And we'll choose M at merge at last. Here. Here. M merge at last. Here. Here. M merge at last. Here. And there. And M merge at last. I'm sure there's easier and better ways to do it, but you're watching my tutorial, so I don't care. Next. So now I want to kind of smooth out these corners so it looks more appealing. So what we're going to do is we'll select the edges here. Not that edge. Okay, so we got the 4 edges, and then we're going to use the bevel tool, which is over here. We're going to go back to 0 view, back up a little bit, and we'll pull on this. And look at that. Good. And we'll do it again. We'll select, then we'll click bevel again. This time we'll select these faces. And we'll pull again. It's not going to work. Let's do it one face at a time. That looks ugly. Okay, we'll just select the edges. Good. Okay. Then the cheat will go shade smooth, I think. Right click on the object, shade smooth. Hey, look at that. Looks kind of messed up at the top. Go back to selection tool, choose G. Good. G. G. Select your 2 lines, go back to 0 view, and G. Okay, that looks a little more appealing, I guess. Now we're going to select this plane here. G and drag down so it looks more like the other one on top. And we'll move our plane down here. Press tab to get out of edit mode. Select this one, and we'll go down a little bit, make it look even. We'll go scale. Scale it in. There. Go back to render view. Okay, this is green, and then we're going to go ahead and make this outer block. I need to get out of edit mode. Okay. Make this outer one emission. Leave it white and raise it. Scale this down so it has a little bit of a alpha so you can see through it. All right, good. So now we're going to go to the rendering area. We're going to go to film, enable transparent down here at the bottom. All right. And then we're going to change the origin of this because we're going to animate it depleting and refilling up. So we're going to put the cursor here. It's pretty close to the edge. There we go. And we're going to make sure that its Z and X axis are on 0. Oops, that was the X. We'll undo that. Oh, I can't. Okay. Fine, we'll move the X axis a little bit. Go ahead and place the cursor back lined up. A little bit more over. There we go. So Y and Z need to be 0. There we go. Then we're going to press spacebar and do origin to cursor, to 3D cursor. All right, now we've done that. Now that the origin's been moved, when we scale this on the x-axis, scale x, see our life bar increases and decreases. Isn't that great? But this is just the rendering. This is not how you make it deplete in game. But I think we can do better. We're going to go ahead and composite this thing. So, do we want to use composite? We'll just use shaders. Shaders are easier. Go into shader editor. So now let's animate this. So I'm going to go to 0 and God, that's an ugly board. I don't care. Okay. Now let's fix it. It's fine. Let's go ahead and fix this. It's bothering me. So let's go to geometry view. Oh, give me a second here. Select these faces. Select these faces. And we'll go S for scale, X, and bring it. Oh. Get some extra faces. Do it on this side. They're still connected. S for scale, X. Bring it out a little bit. Looks a little better. For this, we'll press GG. Edge slide to line it up. Select this bottom, press GG, drag. There we go. Used to be you had to do a auto merge, but now it automatically does it. So it should have gotten rid of the extra vertices. And this side's ugly. UPBGE. Okay, that's better. We're going to be looking at, light bar is going to be tiny on the screen, so you won't notice that. All right, good. Gotta move that though. Okay. All right, good enough for government work. All right, next, go ahead and move this over a little bit. And scale it on the X. There we go. All right, we have our light bar. Let's go back to render view. Still ugly, but I don't care. All right, this corner's nice. The rest of this is garbage. All right. Next, what we want to do is we want to animate this, and we want to use 100 frames because you want to be able to do percentage of the life bar, right? So we're going to first do, we're going to mouse over the viewport here, press I, set a keyframe, and then we're going to go to 100 and press I to set a keyframe. And nothing happens because they're the same keyframe. We're then going to go to 50. Well, actually, I like a smooth transition between these two. On interpolation, we want a linear interpolation on this. So we're going to go back to keyframe 1. And we're going to go ahead and scale this down to S, then X to scale on the X-axis. And we're going to scale this down all the way to, at this point, you'd want to kill the enemy. So actually, let's try this. SX0. Hey, look at that. Disappeared. Okay. So at frame 1, we're going to click, and that'll be 0. And then I'm going to press I to keyframe it. And now when we go between the two lines, look at that. Our health bar is now smoothly moving. Isn't that great? But we can do better also. So what we're going to do next is we're going to keyframe the color of this. So we're going to create go over here to the shading panel, shading node tree. We'll do Shift A, and we'll do an RGB input. We're going to plug that both in our color shader and our emission shader, and you'll notice it turned it white. Now we're going to make this green. And we're going to duplicate this RGB shader. And then we're going to add a mix RBG node. Select mix color. Attach it there. And we'll attach the other one here. And we'll make it red. We'll get rid of that one. We're going to do another. Okay. So now we have a degradation between, or a gradation rather. Let's get this centered. Between green and red. And if we manipulate this factor, we can now go between green at factor 0 and red. I like the idea of green being 1, so we're going to swap these two node points here. So do that. And green is 1.0 and red is 0. Look at that. Okay. Now we've done that, we're going to animate this factor section. So to do that, we need to go to our dope sheet. So we're going to click on our timeline here, change this to dope sheet. Click on this little mini arrow here. We'll press T for tool. Oh. Turn in. It'll just let me click on it. Come on. There we go. We got the summary here. Okay. So we got all the keyframes for our frame. So when you, this is kind of annoying in 4.4, but when you press I, it does the keyframing for everything. I think it's so it makes it more freeform for animators and animation layers, but whatever. So we got our keyframes here. And what we want to do now is we want to be able to manipulate this material. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 100 on our dope sheet in our timeline. And we're going to mouse over, we're going to click in here, and we'll click off, and we're going to mouse over this factor section. We're going to press I. And that turns it yellow, which means it generates a keyframe. The next thing we're going to do is this. We're going to click on this little box here that says show only selected. We're going to disconnect that. And what that's going to do, when you uncheck this show only selected arrow here, you'll see the material keyframes popped up down here. We have one for factor mix, which is this one right here. So now we're going to go back to 0. And we're going to adjust our factor down to 0. You'll notice it turned orange. That means it detects there's a keyframe, but there's not a keyframe at this point yet. So then I'm going to mouse over, press I. And now we have a health bar that changes color as the status of it goes. Isn't that great? So next, what we're going to do is we got to render this thing. Let's make this metallic though before we do that. So what we'll do is we'll make this gray. That'll probably make it blend more. And we're actually going to turn off the emission. We'll go ahead and set this to 0 for emission. And we'll add a light to it. So we can have a scene. So we'll do Shift A, light. We'll go ahead and do a point light. And we'll move it over here. Right above. And then we're going to do increase its, we click on this little light bulb icon over here. Increase that. And that makes it look less offensive, doesn't it? And we can also see things we want to do, like we'll raise this up a little bit. There we go. And then let's add a sheen to this by raising the metallic of the and lowering the roughness. And we can increase the color of the gray a little bit. Make it more defined, and we can see all the ugliness in our geometry. It actually looks kind of cool now, like it's worn. You know, a little bit. That's kind of neat. Okay. Neat. All right. Let's go ahead and actually select the top of our. So here's a trick. You select one plane, and you hold down Control and select the other plane on the other side. It selects all of them. Then we'll go ahead and go GZ, raise it up a little bit to make it more even at the bottom. There we go. And we'll do that, go to 0. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and actually temporarily disable transparency to see what it looks like. Okay. Let's go ahead and darken the gray. Those two different materials? Oh, they're the same material. Okay. Just catching more light on the bottom, so we're actually going to offset a little bit. And raise it up. There we go. That looks like a proper life bar. All right. Well, kind of. It's kind of junky, but oh well. It's a tutorial, not a game. All right. And we'll see from this head-on view, we still need to raise this plane up a little bit. Go Z. There we go. Oh, I lost all my life. I'm dead. I'm at full health. I'm dead. I'm at middle health. There you go. All right, so that's how you make the health bar. But how do we use it in game? Well, first, we got to turn this back to transparency because we're going to output this to an image sequence. We're going to use PNG, RGBA alpha. We're actually going to disable compression because I found that the engine works better when it doesn't have to decompress when the processor doesn't have to decompress the file sequence in the game. So we're going to make it 0 compression. It'll make the file kind of big, but whatever. And then we'll go ahead and adjust our camera size to just output just the bar. So we're going to go to render settings here under this little printer icon, and we'll start lowering our, and we'll lower our, there we go. We'll change our aspect. We gotta get pretty close. That might be the best we can do. That's 36 pixels. It's gonna be tiny, so we need something more high res than that. We don't need 800. Let's do. Maybe 1200 either. Let's do 512 for the top. And we'll lower the 512 by 44. Okay. And then we'll crop to render region. See if that does anything. Something like that. This is going to be the best we're going to get here. It's fine. The background's transparent, so no one will see it. So 512 by 41 pixels, and then we're going to go back to film here down in the render settings. So render settings, film, transparent. We'll go ahead and move it a little bit on the x-axis. So there we go. All right. And there's our health bar. So now we're going to render this thing. Render animation. Let's stop that first. We actually have to select our directory we want to animate our sequence to. So click on the printer. Right now it's in temp. I'm going to go to my desktop, create a new folder, call it life_bar render. Why not? Go into it, accept it. There we go. We got no compression, 8 bits. These are small files, so it doesn't matter. And then we'll do render animation. It's kind of neat. When you're rendering a life bar, it looks like a progress bar. Oops, it's running more frames than we need. Escape. To set the boundary of our render, we have to go to timeline, go to playback. We're at frame 100 here. We'll go to playback, set end frame. All right. And then we will render. Render animation. I'll move this to the center. Our little progress bar, or our life meter. All right, that's done. We'll close that. Next, we will go ahead and save this so I don't have to make it again later. Save as desktop, life bar render. Life bar render. I'll just call it life bar.blend. Sure. Okay, we've saved that. All right. Then we're going to say hello to our wallpaper girl. Hello, little witch. And I'm going to bring up my text editor. And we'll run my custom GUI I made. First, I'll go into desktop, UPBGE. This GUI, if you want to program with it, is available on the UPBGE Discord under resources. Okay, we'll do general. I'll quit out of the Blender documentation. I have this GUI set up, so if you know Tmux, you can use I quit out of it. All right. And then we'll exit from this panel. So we have our code editor. All right. Goodbye, enemy girl. All right, what's next? All right, now we're going to get rid of this. Now, some of you are asking how to do this with nodes, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't do nodes. All right. So what's next? Obviously, we need to import our life bar. So we're already on cursor point 00. We'll go Shift A. And we'll go Shift A to add an object. We'll choose Image, Mesh Plane. We're going to navigate to Desktop, the life bar render. Select all the files here. So, Make sure we're in list view. Select all the files. We're only going to do to 100 because the other ones are bad. So the other ones are extras from the bad render. So we're going to do 0 to 100 of our PNG sequence here. There we go. And we're going to, under shader, we're going to change this to shadeless because it's already been rendered. Unless you want light effects to affect it, but we're not that cool. We'll do force reload because that makes it reload every time we, actually we don't need to do force reload. We want it cached to the GPU. So we'll leave force reload unchecked. Go ahead and do backface culling. And we're going to set this to blended mode so it looks nice. Shaded blended, no backface culling. Because that's going to make it run faster in the engine. Rendering back faces, there's no point in rendering something the player's not going to see. So, and import images plain. Shoot. Undo. Redo. Shift A. I imported the sequence as a bunch of meshes when I need to just bring it in as an image sequence. So, okay, we got 0 through 100 checked. So I set to shadeless, blended, backface culling, everything. We need to click this checkbox that says detect image sequences. And import. There we go. Now if we do that, go to render view, we now have our life bar in game. So we're going to go ahead and go to option 3, or we're going to press 3 on the numpad to bring it up on this view. And then we're going to do go ahead and avoid coding for now. Okay, we pressed 3 on the numpad to go right here and look at it from the side. Right now, in the engine, transparency is actually turned off. So if we let's go ahead and change the sky to blue and change the background to blue. Let's make it purple and turn it down. There we go. You'll see that we have this purple box here, and that's caused by the transparent node. The game engine doesn't support it. So if I actually press P, oh, it is transparent. Look at that. Well, let's put a cube behind it real quick just to make sure it's transparent. That might be cool if they actually fix that. Okay, we'll put a cube behind it just to make sure. Let's press option 1, option 3. I'm sorry, press 3 on the numpad. Yeah, we'll go ahead and move this cube a little bit so it's. There we go. So you can see it's transparent. And then we'll go to view, align active camera to view. Now if we press play. Oh, good. Looks like the transparent node is supported now. Awesome. Okay, that saves me time there. All right, so looks horrible with that cube there, so we'll get rid of it. All right. So what's next? Next is programming the logic of this. So what we need to do is, actually we'll go ahead and make this a UI element, so we'll move it to where it's going to be. So we're going to move this here, down here. Let's scale it down. You want your life bar at the top or at the bottom? Well, let's do the top, like it's a fighting game. If we really want to do it like a fighting game, we could actually scale the X on it, right? You know, I guess on this it'd be scale Y. And then scale Y. Fight. Liu Kang wins. Sure, let's do it like that. All right, and then this is going to be a long tutorial because I make everything long. So we're going to go ahead and add a plane down here. Let's make sure we're in a good place, like 0, 0. Sure. And we'll add a plane. Let's go ahead and parent this to camera. So what we're going to do with this object here is we're going to select this, then we're going to control click on the camera in the outliner. And we'll go object, parent, object. Now we've done that, when we move our camera, you'll see the life bar moves with the camera. All right. And then we're going to actually want it close to the camera, so anything in world's not going to clip it. So we'll go G, X, get as close to the camera as we can, get it in view. Where are you at? Okay. G, Z, scale it down. Okay. Now, because this was imported as an image sequence, you could actually move the timeline, and you'll see that it works. So if you were using nodes, I'm not going to tell you how, but if you go to logic nodes, and you can choose the option to animate and do start frame, end frame, right? And that's the way you could do it. But that's boring. We're going to do this with code, with Python, because I hate you, Debian. Not really, I love you. But I don't do nodes. So we're adding our world. We're going to press Shift A, add a plane. No, not a plane. We're going to add a cube. Make it green, because green is good. Red is bad, right? I'll make it blue. We'll make him blue. Then we'll duplicate him, move him over. So to duplicate, we want separate data on these, so I'm doing Shift D. And we'll duplicate again. Okay. And we'll select this cube. I'm on cursor mode. Select this cube. And we're going to click this little instancing thing here. What this is right now these are sharing the same material data. So if we change the color, you'll see they all change. But if we click this little number here, this object's now removed from that, and we can make him red. And we'll add a little emission to him too, just so he sticks out a little more. There you go. This one will make green. This one will select, we'll make this one blue. So you got to click this little number here next to the material name. So it has its own material data. And we'll click the color, change it to blue. There. We'll leave these two as static, and we're going to change the physics on this blue one to character. There you go. Now we're going to start coding. So we're going to put a component on our player. So in our code editor, we're going to import BGE. And we got to save this as a Python file. So write, we'll call this lifebar.py. Okay. Now I have auto completion. Yep. So we'll do class, and we'll call this player life render. We'll just call it player life because we're going to put the data values in here too. So player life, BG, dot types, dot kx Python component. All right. Then we'll do our args to an empty dictionary because we're only going to do this all in the update function. Then we'll do def update. Actually, we're going to need a start function because we need player values. So we'll do start.args, or start, I can type def start. There we go. Then we're going to give this player variable called self.hp is equal to, we'll go ahead, for ease, we'll do 100 because we have 100 frames of animation. Then we'll do self.hp, and then we'll do a function called player hit, player damaged, and actually I should do this proper. Inherits from self because it's inside the class. Now what we're going to do is we have to rename these objects. So we're going to call the red one enemy. And we're actually going to make it enemy.001 because when we duplicate it, it'll then be enemy.002. And yeah, let's do uppercase. Then when I duplicate it, I should actually move it on the x-axis. Shift D, X, Y. There we go. All right, good. Oh, I named him enemy. That's dumb. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new collection here by going to collection, right-clicking, and choose new. And we're going to name this collection enemies. And we'll put enemy 1 in there, enemy 2 in there. And we'll create another collection called Power Up. New collection. And we'll call it Health Boost. Boosters. Select this cube. We're going to rename this to call it Health Potion. Why not? Health Potion .001. There we go. And we'll go ahead and duplicate him because why not? I will duplicate him. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Next, we're going to give the player some quick controls here. So I'm going to change these to pass real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and import this script so I can start working with it. So go to text editor, open, Healthbar. There we go. And we'll save it. Then Alt-R. There it is. Then, all right, so and then if we run it, we shouldn't get any errors. I don't know why it's popping up on the other screen, but it is. Okay. It's running. There's no Python errors. This error is because of something internal to UPBGE. The garbage collector's probably not freeing up something, but it doesn't matter. It dies when the game ends. All right, next is select the player, and we're going to go ahead and continue with our script. So we'll do function called player mover. We'll go ahead and use keyboard. If you guys want me to do a controller tutorial, let me know, because that one we'll use controllers and arrays, but I'm only going to make it if you ask for it. All right. Such an evil tutorial maker in my mom's basement. All right, next. Player mover. So let's get the keyboard. So keyboard is equal to bge.logic.keyboard. We'll just do this in a functional way. If now let's go ahead and import the keyboard. It's going to be faster. Keyboard equal to bge.logic.keyboard. And we'll go if and we'll do a WMBQ, or we'll do D and A. So D is equal to bg.events dot D key. A is equal to bge.events dot A key. And if D in kbd.active inputs we're going to move this thing on the right axis, so we'll do self.object dot world position dot y plus equals 0.08. If A in keyboard dot active inputs self dot I gotta rename that. There we go. Self dot object dot world position dot y plus equals minus equals 0.08. Okay. Should make a move, so we'll put that down and update here. Self.player mover. I'm going to go ahead and switch, or nah, I'll go ahead and just use the Blender player. Press play, bring over the game. No errors, that's good. Now if I go like this, he's not moving. Oh, because I haven't attached it yet. Okay, so select the player. Go down here to the Python game object properties. Click on add. We're going to add Lifebar player life. Lifebar dot player life. Okay, it's attached. Now I'm going to press play. Yay, he's moving. Good. He's moving a little fast for me. Let's go make it 0.4. He moves too fast. He's not sensitive. All right. Save that. Bring it over. There we go. That's a good smooth motion. All right. All right, so now we need these things to damage the player. So we're going to create a component for each of these. We're going to create one component for the red and one component for the green. One that's going to take away life and one that's going to add life. So we'll do class, enemy, ouchie. These enemies make me ouchie. Shut up. All right. do another class. Just copy this one. And we'll call this Healthy Healing. Because. Okay. Alright, so in Animate Ouchie, what we'll do is we're going to create a dispose function, which is built in the component. Then we're going to do try, and we have to get the player from the environment, so we'll do player or plier is equal to BGE dot, we'll do self dot object, we'll do BGE dot object no, we'll do self dot object dot c dot objects player. I have to rename the cube to player, so we'll do that. Then we'll do a collision. Collision is equal to self.object.collide player or plier. Then we'll do if true in collision. Now we know here that the player's HP is in that component, so we can do this. Let's go ahead and get the component, so we'll add a variable. Player underscore HP is equal to player dot components. And then you put in the component name, so player life. And if true in components, and then we need to get the variable. So this health variable is HP. So here we do player life dot HP. Okay. And then we'll do if true in collision, player HP minus equals. Let's do 20 for now. Let's do 25 for now. Reduce it by a quarter. And then we need to add an update function also, because we need to kill the player. We need to kill this object as it player runs into it, because I want to. Update self, and we'll copy this. Oops. Undo that. Okay. There we go. So we're going to copy this stuff. And we can get rid of this. And if true in collision, this will destroy the red box also. Because we want the red box to die, so dispose will do something to it. I could just put this in here and when they collide, it just hurts him, but I think it's more fun to kill things in game. In Minecraft. Alright, next is if collision self.object.end object. There you go. So now when the player runs into him, the block will disappear, and then the enemy collider will disappear, and then as its killing effect, it will reduce the player's HP by 25%. But it's not going to affect the life bar yet, because we have to add something to the player life bar under update. So what we need to do, let's go ahead and just test this to make sure it has no errors. So we'll do that. So we'll save it. Oh, we got 2 errors. Where are errors? Oh, I need a finally. Oh, okay. Finally, pass. This is to get rid of an error that the game engine throws when you don't kill something that has a dispose in it. So, what's our other error here? Oh, we have this extra stuff. Okay, get rid of that. There you go. All right. Then we'll select an enemy, and we'll go add. This is called enemy ouchie, so it'll be lifebar.enemy ouchie. There we go. It's attached. And we'll go ahead and have the print output print the player HP so you can see it change. So print self.hp. And we'll play. Okay, you see it's printing out here. So when I move and touch the... okay, didn't work. Why is that? Probably because we have to do this. So what we did is we instanced the component to this variable player HP, and then we had to do player.hp to actually affect this HP up here. So we'll try again. All right, I'm back. And it looks like what we had to do is every component still requires a start function. You can't just do update. So you have to do a start function and a pass at least to make the Python component work. So now, as we'll go over this again, so in our update function, we have a collision detection. We set a variable to the player object in the scene. We detect this enemy object's own collision with that player variable. If the Boolean returns true in collision, then we destroy the object. And then when the object is destroyed under this dispose function, it's going to try to get the player, get his HP component and his HP variable when there's a collision with the player. We don't even need this part, do we? This is redundant here. we can just do this. We can get rid of the collision here. Just do that. So when this thing disposes, it gets the player variable, it gets its player life component, and then it sets the HP variable to minus 25 of its current state. Now if we run this, and play it, see his HP is 100 right now, and when we click run in the block disappears and its HP drops to 75. Excellent. So now what we need to do is we need to animate our life bar. And the reason I set the HP to 100 is to make this easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the frame number of this image sequence of this life bar to match the player's life. So now if I go to our shader section here, that's a bad one. Let's go back. We change our area to shading. You'll see we have this node tree that was created by the image import. We have our shadeless, we have our transparent, we have all this stuff, right? But what we need is this section right here, which has our frames, our start frame, 0 to, should be, yeah. Let's go ahead and spread this out. And we'll go ahead and make this 3D view. So to render, there we go. So we have our image texture node here. And when we change the offset, we can scale it down. So what we need to do is we actually need to set this start frame to 0. Our offset to 0. That's weird, it's doing it negatively. That's interesting. So our start frame needs to be negative 100. And when you get below 100, it goes purple. So, and this, our max frames needs to be 0. So now if we do negative 100 to, oh, no, frames is 100, okay. That's weird, it's starting at negative. That's so strange. But that's the way it's going to be. And offset 0. There you go. Is that because, oh, I know why, because we're in the timeline at frame 100. Okay. Go to timeline, make sure it frames 0. There we go. And we set this to frames 100, frame 0, offset 0. There we go. That works better now. So now if we scroll on offset, we can see that we're able to manipulate our health bar. So now let's do that with Python, because nodes are for wimps. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our node area here, and we have our tooltips enabled under Edit, Preferences, Interface, Python Tooltips. And then if we mouse over offset, it's going to give us our tooltip. It's going to say bpy.data.materials.001.nodetree_tree nodes image texture.imageuser.frame offset. That's a lot to say. Say that 3 times fast. Say it now. All right. Next, we'll get our offset back to, we're just going to basically set our offset, since it's 100, our HP is 100. We're going to set our offset to 0 for now. And in our update function, we're going to set it under player life, under update right here. Let's separate these out. So we're going to create a function called player life. We won't call player damage, we'll call it player life. And what it's going to do is it's going to grab, it's going to manipulate this, it's basically going to set it equal. So what we can do is just do self dot object dot, it's going to set a variable to it. So let's call it life bar is equal to self dot object. I'll move this over. Say goodbye, anime girl. All right. Self dot object dot blender object dot active material dot node tree dot nodes, and then we're using the image texture node for the image sequence, so image texture, then dot image offset. So if you're just going to do image texture, okay, because you want to stop at the component instance you're loading, or at the node instance. So when you're naming a variable and you want to manipulate things, you actually want to stop at the last set of the bracketed item. So we don't want to do frame offset, because we want the we don't want to do frame offset. We want to just do this because we want this section loaded into memory, so we can then manipulate its properties. So, all right. And then we'll do life bar dot image offset. And there's not going to be any auto correction because the Python tooltips are not in the BPY or UPBGE Python stubs. So we're going to set it equal to self.hp. Then we'll put that function in self.playerLife. Put that function in our update function here inside the component, and we'll save it. All right, now we've done that. If we press play, it didn't work. It should be set to player HP. It's because we have to go to text editor and reload our script. And we'll do it again. Okay, I'm getting an error. What's my error? Line 25. Line 20. What did I do wrong? Did I misspell it? Oh, I know why. Because I did self.object. So I actually have to import the life bar. Okay. So we'll change this variable to life values. I wish I was charismatic as the range engine guy, but I'm evil and live in my mom's basement. Change this to life values. Also, I think he's probably an AI voice thing. Someone just typed a script into it. All right, next. But he's awesome, whoever he is. All right, next is. This needs to not be self.object. This needs to be something else. So first we have to do life bar. We have to import the life bar into the component. So life bar is equal to self.object.scene.objects. And we'll go ahead and change the name of this from plain. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're under camera. It's just 001. We're going to change that to life bar with a capital F and a capital B. And values is going to be equal to life bar blender object active. There we go. Bring it over. Okay, we still have an error. What's the error? Image offset. Is it offset image? Image user dot frame offset. Okay. So I did that wrong. So this needs to be image user dot frame offset. Okay. All right, and we'll press P. And I didn't reload the script. Okay. I'll press P. Okay, good. It worked because we know it set the bar to full. Now if I run into this enemy, bam! Look at that. Now let's apply this component to the other things. Add enemy ouchie to this one. Play. Bring it back over. I gotta figure out how to get this onto number 0. All right. Bam, bam. Oh, life bar is working. Look at that. All right. And then we'll copy our enemy ouchie, but instead, we're going to make this healthy. Healthy healther. So let's go X. Let's copy all this. Bam. And we'll play. Got 2 copies of it. We'll name this one to Health Booster. And we'll change this to, instead of taking away 25, it'll add 25. Oh. And then also, we're going to go ahead and add a value called max health. Self.hp max is equal to 100. And then in our update function, what we'll do is we'll say now we'll just add it to player life function. So in the player life function, we'll say if self.hp is greater than self.hp max, self.hp is equal to self.hp max. What I'll do is if it ever goes over 100, it'll just stay at 100. And then if you have a power up later on, you can manipulate the HP max variable. So like his health could go up to 200 or 300 or whatever you want. All right. Now we've done that. Let's go ahead and test this. So let's go. Play. And ouch, he's hit. Ouch, he's hit again. Oh, that's not working yet. Why? Because we did not attach the components. So, health booster. So we'll go here, we'll go to add game component, life bar dot health booster. Go to this one, add the same thing. All right. Now, when we play, ouch, he's hurt. Ouch, he's hurt. He gave back life. He's at 100% health. All right, so that's how you do life bars. If you want me to show you how to animate it, so like you have it run back and forth since we have all those animation frames, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, because they say to say that. I don't really care. I just hope it helps you. Anyway, this is how you do it. Have a good day. Bye.